Alright, so now we're going to compute R8 for f of x equals x squared over 0, 1. In the previous video, we computed R4, and this was the picture that we drew. Remember, R4 was the approximation with 4 rectangles. We approximated with, we added the area of this rectangle plus this one plus this one plus this one. So the whole red rectangle, whole red, whole red, whole red. Okay, now the major concept to get here is that as we increase n, the approximation gets better. Okay, let me say that again. As we increase n, the approximation gets better. That's really the point that I'm trying to get across here. Okay, here's R4. Alright, now let's compute delta x for R8. Delta x for R8 is going to be 1 minus 0 over 8, otherwise known as 1/8. Remember that an eighth is 1/2 of a fourth. You can see this by, this is 1/2 times 1/4. 1/2 of 1/4 is 1/8. So essentially R8 is going to cut each of these rectangles in half. Okay, so let's look at that. In red I have R4, in blue I'm going to do R8. Okay, so the delta x is going to be an eighth, so we're going to go here and with an eighth, and then an eighth and another eighth, that's 2/8, otherwise known as a fourth. So we have one there, so 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. Okay, now let's look at how this is going to work. All right, so okay, so now the blue rectangles, that's going to be our approximation. The area of all the blue rectangles added together, that's going to be our approximation, R8. Do you see what happened? Notice that with R4 we also included this piece, and this piece, with this piece, and this piece. But as we increase from 4 to 8, as we increase the number of rectangles, we got a better approximation. Now think about how, what does it mean to have, why is it just an approximation? It's just an approximation because the area under the curve is not totally represented by this guy. This guy represents the area under the curve and a little bit more. With red, we had this much plus this much more. This much, we had this much plus this much more. This much plus that much more. That much plus that much more. As we increased n from 4 to 8, we got rid of this piece. And we have a better approximation.